What's poppin', y'all? I'm here to talk about the buffs and changes I've made for my boy Zoroark. But before I get into explaining my thought process behind the new abilities, and most importantly, all the new moves and move changes, I want to have a quick disclaimer for new viewers. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate you clicking on the video. If you are new, drop a comment, let me know who you are. But for all of you new people, I recommend you pause the video and read the description. It's got a bullet point list that'll kind of give you a lot of important background context for the ROM hack and the way I balance it. So definitely make sure you give that a read. And then when you're done with the video, you can also check out the Google Sheet link down below, as you see on screen right now. It's very, very in-depth. This is the little table of contents, and then most importantly, you've got this move guide because every single move in this game, for the most part, I mean, majority of moves are buffed and changed or reworked. So I recommend you just scroll through this, and that'll give you an easier understanding of how moves work now. Um, so Zoroark, they have two new abilities instead of just having illusion. I will also briefly talk about illusion and the way I intend for that to be used later on, because there is a couple of caveats. I talked more about this in the Hisui and Zoroark video. By the way, if you're curious, I will flash Hisui and Zoroark on screen, but they have their own video explaining their changes. But they do share the ability Ruthless and Illusion, and they have the same stats, so that's cool. But they have their own video explaining their own in-depth stuff. As for Zoroark itself, though, so instead of having, for example, Berserk, which the Hisuian has, which makes sense with their whole vibe going on, regular Zoroark has Prankster instead because he's a lot more mischievous and, he likes to cause the illusions and stuff, which, of course, Hisuian does as well, but Hisuian is a lot more, relentless, undead, angry type of vibes, while Zoroark, while still it can get angry, it's also, more of a mischievous type of Pokemon, right? So Prankster is really cool for utility. Specifically, Prankster is good with Parting Shot, Will-O-Wisp, Encore. Keep in mind, Will-O-Wisp is 100% accurate, 2 PP there. So Will-O-Wisp, you've got a 1 PP Encore, which is still awesome for in-game, use. Encore is an incredibly broken move versus the AI. Disable, so you got Encore Disable, or just Disable itself. Battle Cry, which drops attack and special attack by -2. Glare, which drops attack, special attack, and paralyzes. Hypnosis, which will always last for 2 turns and it won't miss if you hold a wide lens. And then Taunt. Those are the main Prankster options. There's a couple other small things, but those are the most important ones. And that's all really good, right? I mean, you can debuff with Will-O-Wisp or Battle Cry or Glare. You can put things to sleep. You can Parting Shot out. You can Encore Disable. You can Taunt, especially on the lead. A lot of them will have setup or anti-setup moves, so you can taunt them and do your own thing. Just overall, very, very useful ability. Very fitting, again, given the whole Prankster, Trickster type vibes that Zoroark and Zorua have going on. And then Ruthless kind of fits to his more aggressive, angry, evil side, I guess. And so Night Days is given to a bunch of dark types and other Pokemon now. It's a widespread move. A lot of moves in this game are now widespread that were previously not. And Night Days is one of them. So Night Days, alongside moves like Temper Flare and Soul Crush and Wicked Blow itself, are all Wicked Blow variants. And the big drawback of those moves is that they can't be used twice in a row. However, when you have Ruthless, those moves go from 120 to 180 base power, so they're incredibly strong. But of course, they can't be spammed with Choice Scarf. So you can't slap a Choice Scarf on your Zoroark and spam Night Days versus the AI. You have to switch out if you get a kill with one of these moves, which is very reasonable, and they're still very strong. Keep in mind that this 115 base speed might look very, very good, but you have to keep in mind, and it is good, but you have to keep in mind you're not guaranteed a plus speed nature. So you're only getting 20 speed IVs on all your eggs while the AI is getting maxed out. So you're actually only practically having base 100, not even base 99. Why can't I type this in right now? Hold on, guys. 99. No, even less. 95. Yeah, base 95 equivalent, which, yeah, that's how that works. So unless you get a plus speed nature Zoroark, you're only hitting base 95 on the AI. So keep that in mind. That's why you're going to be relying on, Scarf with Ruthless a lot of the time, or I don't know, Sash Agility or something, which is actually pretty great, because you can switch between Night Days and Wicked Blow and Temper Flare and Soul Crush and all your other coverage moves. You have tons of Fire moves and Psychic and Aura Sphere and all this other, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, all this. Moonblast, all these incredible coverage moves that you get access to. With Movie Learner, it means it's really easy to just counter team and slap on coverage to hit things super effectively. Other cool Ruthless options outside of those Wicked Blow variants. So you have Lash Out, which, while weaker than Wicked Blow, well, first of all, it's significantly earlier, right? You get Lash Out as soon as you evolve. You get the TM before level 25, roughly. So you can have Lash Out as soon as you evolve, and that's a 112.5 power move with Ruthless, so that's very, very strong. And then you've also got stuff like Night Slash and other 50% crit moves, Jagged Edge, Shadow Claw, Laceration, Cycle Cut, and X Scissor, all of which will guaranteed crit if you hold a Scope Lens. But again, keep in mind the whole speed stat thing I just talked about, you're only actually hitting 95 speed. So anything that's slower than 95, you can slap on Scope Lens Ruthless and, click your Night Slashes and your other crit moves. But without that Scope Lens, you're not getting the crit. Or at least you shouldn't plan as if you're getting the crit because you're a frail Pokemon. Even in general, you should never plan as if you're getting the 50%, but especially on a frail Pokemon, if you don't get it and you don't kill, you could die in return, right? So definitely something to keep in mind. So that's really fun. Doom Desire is a super sick rootless option. So what that means is you can like Doom Desire and then like eject button, or Doom Desire and parting shot, or U-turn, or whatever. And Doom Desire goes from 150 power, because it's 100 power, but it always crits. So it goes from 150 to 225 with Rootless. So that's an incredible nuke, even stronger than Night Daze and Wicked Blow. The downside is, of course, it takes a couple turns to get going. So you gotta click it, then you gotta switch out. You don't get Protect or anything, so you get to switch out, which isn't hard to do. You can always switch around. It's very easy to take advantage of. So Doom Desire is super, super fun to use, and I already covered all the Wicked Blow variants. So that's basically all the Ruthless stuff. Also First Impression, that's just a strong 135 power with Ruthless option. So that's all really fun and cool, and I really like those two abilities and how they complement each other. I really do love being able to switch from that utility of Prankster to the offensive capability of Ruthless. And then there's the odd one out, which is Illusion, right? So Illusion is a really cheesy ability because the thing with the AI is they won't ever predict your illusion. So if you have, I don't know, a Pokemon that's weak to Psychic, I don't know, random example, Toxicroak or some shit, right? You have a Toxicroak on your team, or any Psychic weak Pokemon. The AI has a Psychic move. Keep in mind, this is a lot more broken on Hisuian Zoroark because he has way more immunities. I talked more about that in their video, but in this case, it's less broken because it's only one immunity. It's still broken though. So what it means is, if you bait that Psychic move, so if you have somebody on your team that can bait a Psychic move, which again on Teamlocked isn't a guaranteed thing, you have to have a Pokemon that baits the move. You can essentially get infinite turns. You can click Agility, you can click Nasty Plot, you can click whatever the fuck you want. SD Agility, SD Nasty, Agility Nasty Plot, whatever. You have free turns to do whatever, to set up all you want, and all you really need is +2/+2, and then you sweep everything, right? So it is very broken. So the way I would personally put rules around how illusion works, because unfortunately the AI never learns from itself. It doesn't stop using the move unless the illusion is broken. So what that means is, again, with immunities, the illusion will never get broken because it's an immunity. Unlike, if you want to get a free turn by baiting a resisted move, like, I don't know, you have a Gengar or some shit and you're baiting a dark move, and you have your illusion Zoroark in, you resist the dark move, and then your illusion's broken. That's totally balanced. It's fun. Even it's cool to trick the AI for one turn, but more than one turn, it starts to get really cheesy. So the way I would personally use illusion is just to basically have it so you say, for example, you click Agility in front of a Pokemon that's using a Psychic move, or you click Nasty Plot, or you click Sora's Dance, or you click whatever you want to do. I would personally only allow myself one. This is what I would intend for you to do as well, but of course you can play however you want. I would make it so you only get one turn for free. Every turn after that is like cheating in my eyes. Like, you click Agility, okay, next turn you have to kill them. If they're going to keep spamming Psychic moves, you have to kill them, or switch out or whatever, right? If you want to, for example, use the free turn to get a free Will-O-Wisp or some shit, I don't know, something like that. Whatever you're using that free turn for, though, I think you should only get one free turn. After that, I think you're cheating. Personally, that's my intended rule set. But again, you can play this game however you technically want to. But yeah, again, Prankster very versatile, Ruthless very versatile, and keep in mind, the bulk looks bad on paper, but when you run max HP EVs with Prankster and Battle Cry and Will-O-Wisp and Parting Shot and all these great utility options, you become much more bulky and utility oriented than you might initially assume. So yeah, I really like Prankster on them, and obviously Ruthless is very cool because Night Daze was their previously signature move, so I think them having one of the strongest Night Dazes in the game, I think the only thing I can think of that has a stronger one at the top of my head is Necrozma with Ruthless, because it has a little bit higher special attack. But this is definitely up there for the strongest Night Dazes in the game, so that's cool. So yeah, shout out to you if you made it to the end, guys. I really do appreciate it. Drop a comment if you did, and I'll be back for more coming up. Peace, y'all.